Donald Trump is scared to death as the Ayatollah's funeral continues to grow. Tens of millions of people gathering in Tehran and cities across Iran as Donald Trump threw a pathetic event in Washington, D.C. on July 4th. It's as if the Iranians were counter-programming Donald Trump's pathetic July 4th event. It's quite embarrassing to see what Donald Trump did to the United States of America on its 250th. But the Ayatollah Khomeini's funeral continues to grow. I mean, you're seeing tens of millions of people there. I'll show you some of the images right now. Meiselas Mosque in Tehran continues to be filled up with groups of hundreds of thousands of people, one after another, groups of hundreds of thousands lining up Meiselas Mosque over there. Let me show you what it looks like right now there as Professor Morandi, who is on the negotiating team with Iran, as part of the prior negotiations with the United States. Here's what he posted. This is only a fraction of the millions at this morning's prayer for the martyr Ayatollah Khomeini and his family members. I left home almost 3 hours early, but like hundreds of thousands south of the complex, I never made it in. And that crowd isn't even in this shot. Look at this helicopter shot right here. Let's play it. More aerial images are surfacing of the immense crowd gathered. And as you zoom in, you can see people's signs that say, kill Trump, or we're going to kill Trump, or words to that effect. The people there are absolutely livid. I mean, they are mourning, but they are also livid. I'll show you what some prominent Iranians who are there are saying as well. Take a look at this aerial image right here. Let's play it. Then you had Dmitry Lasaris, who was there as well. He said, we returned this morning. It's a multi-day funeral event. We returned this morning to the Grand Meiselas Mosque in Tehran. Huge numbers of mourners have gathered to pray on the third day of the funeral program for Iran's slain supreme leader. Here, play this clip right here. I think the way Dropsite describes it is apt. They talk about the hundreds of thousands of people who keep filling up the Meiselas Mosque one after the other in these groups to the tune of tens of millions of people nationwide, over 10 million mourners nationwide. Black-clad crowds packed Imam Khomeini's Grand Meiselas and surrounding avenues, waving Iranian and red flags and portraits in the searing summer heat, about 35 degrees Celsius, but they had mist machines all over and fire trucks spraying water over the procession. Mourners were calling for vengeance over Khomeini's killing. Buried alongside Khamenei were several family members killed in the same strike, including his 14-month-old granddaughter Zara Mohammadi Galipayandi, his eldest daughter Zara Khamenei, his son-in-law Mohammad Javad Mohammadi Galipayandi, and the wife of Iran's new supreme leader Fatima Khamenei. Authorities said they opened more than 5,000 schools to accommodate pilgrims traveling from across Iran. The Associated Press reported that the three Khamenei sons, Mostafa, Maysem, and Mossad, attended the funeral prayers, while Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khomeini, did not appear publicly. Khomeini is scheduled to be buried on Thursday in his hometown of Mashhad. Arya Yagdar, who's over there, says, "Mourn but don't lose hope. The great Ayatollah Khomeini left us. We were blessed with Ayatollah Khomeini. Khomeini left us with Khomeini, rather. And now, as Ayatollah Khomeini has left us, he has gifted us Ayatollah Khomeini Jr. 10 million attended Imam Khomeini's funeral. Imam Khomeini's funeral was attended by even more. You see images right here. I'll show you what it looked like in the evening. Here, play this clip. You have a really good reporter over there from India. All of our viewers from India probably know her, Geeta Mohan. Very good reputation in India. Here's how she described what was going on, and you can see the mourners behind her. I think she gives an apt description. Here, let's play this clip.
It is a historic moment. We did not imagine that Israel and America would carry out an attack such as this one and kill the supreme leader over here in his residence. This is not a man who was in hiding. He was actually in his residence when he was killed, so he was not running away. And that's the reason why a lot has changed for Iran in the way the world is looking at Iran. And what we're witnessing over here right behind us is basically that. You're looking at people coming together, not just from Iran. There are people from across the Muslim world. So not only has his martyrdom, his assassination, united people in the Shia faith and the Shia world, but also Sunnis. A lot of leaders from the Sunni world have also come down to Iran to pay their last respects. Saudi Arabia is a strategic partner of America. Today, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia paid his last respects to the late Supreme Leader. That shows that this one incident has changed the geopolitics of the world. And this event is one of the most important events in recent times. Also the first major event under the leadership of the new Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei.
Thank you very much.
More images right here. Arya Yagdahar says, Tehran's prayer hall, 12 hours after the unprecedented presence of mourners paying their respect to their martyred leader, Ayatollah Khomeini. That's what it looked like at 8 p.m. You can hear the chants there, Ya Hussein. You could just listen to what's going on there. Show the images as well. Image. Now just play a small portion of this clip. Let's play it. You have Bushra Shaikh, who is covering it as well. She goes, not AI, the crowds are real. I'm here witnessing it all. It's absolutely insane. Here are some of the images that she captured, more images that she captured over there. Contrast that, by the way, to whatever the heck was going on July 4th, which actually dripped into July 5th in Washington, D.C. for Donald Trump. You see empty seats. Donald Trump obviously scared to death at the signs that I mentioned before. Also scared to death that just the crowd size is so massive, and that the narratives that were, I think, that Donald Trump was spewing, they're destroyed, they're dead, they don't exist, they're begging. That's just not that's not the reality of the situation. And, you know, I don't think that, just to be clear, I don't think that makes me less of like an American or less of a patriotic American to accurately recognize the unprecedented nature of what's going on right there in Tehran and across the country right now. And it seems that when Trump and Netanyahu invaded Iran in this catastrophic unlawful invasion, and they made Khamenei into a martyr, they rallied the people around the regime in a way that didn't exist before. I think that's just an accurate intelligence assessment, not giving you any view of like one way. I'm just giving you what I think the actual facts are right there. I'll tell you what they think over there. I'll show you in this interview over for Reportify. Professor Morandi sat for an interview. He's, again, prominent professor in Tehran, part of the Iranian negotiating team. He traveled with them to Islamabad. And so, you know, he's as close as you can be, in terms of someone who's also, kind of speaking to media as to Aragchi and MB Ghalibaf. Listen to what he has to say here about the funeral. Let's play it.
This morning, there were the prayers where it was definitely in the multiple millions. I've never seen such a crowd. It was actually at some point, it was very well organized, better than I've ever seen before. But it was so crowded that I was just hoping that nothing happened and there was no stampede. Otherwise, it would have been very dangerous. So, but the funeral is ongoing, and people, if they go to media outlets like Press TV or Al Alam or Al Mayadeen, they have rolling coverage, and people are going there 24 hours a day in very large numbers. So the irony of it all is that the United States carried out an assault with the Israeli regime and with this broad alliance or coalition of NATO, as the Secretary General of NATO admitted they were involved, and regional countries. This assault was to destroy the country in a couple of days, to bring about a collapse. And not only did it fail to do that, the United States and the Israeli regime and their allies and proxies lost the war. They lost the siege warfare, and they lost at the negotiating table. And today and yesterday, we've seen huge crowds gathering in the many millions to pay their respects, and they've united the country in a way which I have never seen before.
And here he describes it as a show of force. You can play the clip right here.
That Iran has emerged significantly stronger, despite the destruction and the deaths, than what it was before. And the United States is significantly weaker. I mean, all these millions of people who gathered in Tehran today, and those who are going now and tonight and tomorrow morning and at midnight, all those millions of people who will be attending different parts of the funeral ceremony, they've been hurt by the war. They've been economically impacted by the war. Life is more difficult today than it was 4 or 5 months ago. Yet they were determined to go and participate, and they declared a holiday. So these people could have just left Tehran, gone to the beaches in the north of Iran, gone to the forest, gone to some other cities and enjoyed the weekend. But what they did was, in this heat of summer, they went, and you know how big cities are, getting around is difficult enough on normal occasions. Getting to this ceremony meant we had to walk for a couple of hours just to get there in Tehran's heat. Which in the height of summer can be at 40 degrees. I think it was like 35, 36 today, which is rather good for the summer in Iran, which is okay. But the point is that despite all the hurt, people are determined. It's a show of force. They went to the streets both to commemorate the leader, both to show how they felt about him, but also in defiance of the United States, in defiance of empire, in defiance of those who imposed war on the people. And I think this is just going to make things more difficult for the United States in the days and weeks and months ahead. Because imagine you're an Iranian negotiator. You're going to the negotiating table, and now you have you've seen the millions of people going to the funeral. That is going to give you much more strength and much more leverage to deal with the United States.
You also hear Iranians were chanting also "Death to America" at this. Play this clip. Same thing in the subways you can hear as well. Arya Yagdahar posted this. Damn, look at this crowd. Look how big it is. Let's play it. Donald Trump told Axios that he was surprised about how big the crowds were over there. And he said he thought that everybody hated the Ayatollah, so he was shocked. And he says, maybe they're being paid to do that. I don't know. Just think about it. You said they're so broke, that they're poor, that they don't have any money, and now you're saying they paid tens of millions of people to show up. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'll show you this other video footage right here. Here's IRGC Chief General Vahidi. He's the new head of the IRGC. He showed up knowing that he was likely an assassination target, and Donald Trump had said, I decided not to blow up the funeral. And then people like Mark Levin, who's one of the Fox regime propagandists, who's close to Donald Trump, is like, we missed our shot. We should have taken them all out at the funeral of the Ayatollah. But look, you have the IRGC Chief General Vahidi right there. I'll show you as he enters. Let's play this clip of him entering. MB Ghalibaf, basically the top civilian person in Iran right now, although he held major military positions before. He writes, today the proud and invincible nation of Islamic Iran unanimously bore witness to their mujahideen martyr Imam Khamenei and rose as one, crying out from the depths of their souls, Ya Lathrat al-Hussein, peace be upon him, peace be upon him. And Donald Trump wants attention, so Donald Trump's posting. The crowd at 7:05 in the evening on July 4th was 422,000 people. All were forced to leave because of the weather. The event was canceled and everyone was gone because of lightning. When I heard that it was canceled, I immediately overturned that decision and waited a while for people to come back. Incredibly, at least 150,000 people returned, and it was even more spectacular. No, it wasn't. There wasn't 100. Lucky if there was 2,500 people that were thinking. I showed all the empty seats of what it looked like. I mean, you can see all the empty seats at Donald Trump's July 4th event. You can tell Trump is obsessed with crowd sizes. He posted this from this right-wing account, Geiger Capital. Just 100 years ago, England was the greatest empire the world had ever seen. A few generations later, they are a deindustrialized welfare zone, unable to stop third world men from invading on rubber boats. You could just tell how weak and pathetic Donald Trump feels right now and is. And then he shows this massive image of England 100 years ago. I mean, you realize that's not 100 years ago, that photo, but okay, Donald. And then you saw that, the fire, he even destroyed the fireworks show on July 4th. He demanded that they release so many fireworks that it ended up, destroying the air quality was horrible. I did a video on that yesterday morning. But you couldn't see the fireworks because he just blew them up all at once. There was no rhythm. There was no order. There was no inspiration. There was no color. It was all white, right? Kind of sums up the Trump regime, right? No order, all white, no diversity, no planning, just blowing stuff up. And then it backfiring in your face. I'll just show you what it looked like again. Like, what the heck even was this? This is like the worst fireworks ever. It's my little daughter would go, pa, 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 pa. Here, play this clip. Folks, let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.